Hello. A long while since I've done one of these presentations, so apologies if I come across a bit nervous. I'm also not used to speaking with a mic. Normally I just shout at people across a field. No mic required, so apologies if it's too loud. I'm Ali. I'm part of the team that deliver the Outlaw Triathlon series. Quick intro, if you don't know us, we're Wasserman Mass Participation. Previously, we were OSB Events, but we've recently become part of the Wasserman family. And we've been doing events for about 30 years. And Triathlon, Outlaw Triathlon series, is a series of weekends focused around our flagship long and middle distance triathlon events. So these are serious endurance events. So the full, if you'd like to come and do one, we still have places in July, is a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike ride, and then we just cap it off with a nice little marathon at the end. But if that sounds too much, we do also still have places that are 2 half distance races. So you can come along and do one of those. Triathlon. So at the last LDT Live, we heard a lot about running and how the running industry is really booming, and we're seeing that in our running events as well. However, the story for triathlon post-COVID, unfortunately, isn't quite as rosy. And we've seen quite a few event organisers and great events fall by the wayside. It's a much more difficult market, and there are some different challenges in triathlon. It's a lot more structured, there is much higher barriers to participation than there is to running, and it's just a different kind of, a different sport, a fundamentally different sport. But what we really need to do is be attracting new athletes into triathlon, as well as holding on to the ones that we already have. And a lot of the themes that we heard about last time underpinning the resurgence in running, so the importance of community, the power of inclusion, and how running can be a great vehicle as a social, a way of connecting socially, are just as important to triathlon as they are to running. They just might not always be as easy to implement. So, Outlaw. It's always been a team effort, and it still is. Much the same, I guess, as a lot of you guys. What we do is only made possible by a massive team of volunteers, partners, sponsors, etc. We're actually a very small team, although we're part of a bigger organisation, but we're quite a small team. But the team approach flows into how we run the events as well as how we run our business. And I think that has undoubtedly helped us to weather some of the storm that triathlon's been going through, and it's definitely key to how we help it to recover in the future. So team spirit comes to life in 3 ways. As a triathlete, everything I do is in 3s. So family. Family are at the heart of everything. We're a family business at heart. I'm not technically part of the family, but I kind of am now. Friends. Everything's more fun with friends, right? And triathlon is very much known for being an individual sport, but it is more fun with friends. And then lastly, because I needed an F and community didn't work, fraternity. Oh, sorry, the thing on there's just gone, Don. Can you make that awake? Otherwise, I won't remember what to say. So fraternity, sorry. And that's about connecting with the wider triathlon community. Oh, it's come back. I didn't press my button quick enough. Apologies. Okay, so 3 ways. So family, weekends for all of the family. Okay, so Future Outlaw, absolute highlight of our weekends. We host weekend events. Outlaws are really tough. Okay, they take a significant investment of your time, your money, your energy, and balancing that alongside a family can be really, really hard. So we encourage our athletes to really involve their families in enjoying the events and celebrating their achievements with them. So examples of how we do it: Future Outlaw, a 1.2 or a 2.4 mile race for kids between the ages of 4 and 15. And it's lovely to watch. They can run on their own, they can run with their parents, as long as their parents don't hold them back. And they get to finish on the same amazing orange carpet that their mum and dad will finish on the next day with everyone cheering them on. The family finish, this is an absolute jewel in our crown that we love, and our athletes love us for it. So after you've done your 112 miles, you're coming towards the end of your race, what you really want to do is just drop to the floor, but no, you get the chance to stop, gather up your loved ones, and then take them with you down that orange carpet. And it just makes for the most brilliant finish photo and family moment. And then lastly, just as another example in the family category, special memories. We are really, really delighted to be involved in creating some incredible moments, and I'll try not to get emotional at this one. But this is Sam. He's was one of our outlaws, and this is him crossing the finish line at his last triathlon. So to be able to do that, yeah. I am denied whether to put that one in because I still can't look at it without going, wow. Anyhow, moving on. So family, next block is friends. Everything's more fun with friends, right? But triathlon's often seen as quite individual. It's quite hard to train with other people. And even just the rules of our sport sometimes get in the way. You can't ride your bike alongside your mate in a race. It's just not how it works. But we have to harness the social side to ensure that triathlon remains relevant, that people want to come and do it, and that it's fun. So how do we do that? One easy example, team relays, okay? If that whole race schedule sounded a bit daunting, I still have entries available for the relay. Team up with 1 or 2 friends, share out the legs, and then you can come down that orange carpet together. Again, makes for a great photo. Social. We try and create spaces for our athletes where they can come together, where they can share their race with their friends, but also make new friends, because not everyone's coming as part of a bigger group. So we have lively event villages. We look for venues where there's camping, and if there isn't camping, we build a campsite. And food is pretty fundamental to endurance athletes, okay? So we have a very lively post-event dining hall where the athletes can come together, they can share their experiences over some really good food. And we also host events like Eat and Meet, where we give regular athletes the opportunity to come and talk to professionals like Indy Lee, Ruth Astle and Tim Don. And they can have dinner with them and they can ask questions. And that's a really good way of inspiring people and connecting them to something a bit bigger. And lastly, clubs and groups is another example. So clubs and groups are a really good way of overcoming this individual nature, but actually it's not as popular. We don't have as many people in triathlon who actually are actively parts of groups or parts of the governing body. So we're really happy, or not happy, sorry, we really love involving the clubs, and actually they're really helpful to us as well. So we host club championships for them so they can compete against one another. We'll give them discounted entries, we'll do them special trophies. But also what the clubs do for us is they'll man our feed stations, or they'll work in transition and catch and return hundreds of bikes over the course of the day. And we know that our athletes really love having other athletes out there on the course who understand what they're going through and can support them whilst they're in that race moment. So the final F, fraternity. Okay. So this is all about actually how we work with the wider community of triathlon. It's not just about Outlaw and it's not just about our athletes, but it's starting to reach out so we can grow that community and strengthen it. So we've heard a lot about people sharing their stories, and sharing stories is really important to us too. It's a great way for new potential athletes, lapsed athletes, to see people who might look like them or might just inspire them and bring them in. So we share stories about outlaws. We build Team Outlaw every year. So that's a group of quite diverse athletes who are all on different types of journey, all have different reasons for racing, all have different challenges in racing, and they share their stories. They help us out because they produce some brilliant content, and we offer them discount codes to share with their followers. And that is a great way of them reaching out and attracting new people into this sport that we probably couldn't reach if we just did it on our own. Working with Team Outlaw, we also occasionally get to work with quite high-profile athletes. So there was a picture earlier there of Billy Monger. So athletes who are really showcasing actually the difference that triathlon can make, the journeys that people go on. If you haven't watched his documentary, I thoroughly recommend it. It's hugely inspirational, but also how triathlon can be used as a platform for good. So it's great to be able to share those stories and be part of them. Accessible and inclusive, we've already heard a lot about that this morning, and it's no different for us. We want to grow the community, we want to involve people. It's good for growing our participant base, and it's also just really good for the events and how they feel. We want everyone to feel like they're welcome. So a couple of different ways as examples. So a full or a half might feel a bit daunting. okay, as your first triathlon. I can get that. So we host other events at our weekends. So we do shorter multi-sport events, and we also do single disciplines, so things like the Holcombe 10K. That gives us a way to attract new athletes or to bring back lapsed athletes and get them back into that vibe, get them back into racing at these kind of events. It's also actually quite a good vehicle for us to be able to drive some crossover. So we know a lot of triathletes start out as runners. So how can we bring people, for example, from the Cambridge Half Marathon into being interested in triathlon? And obviously as well, we want to support and encourage everyone to get involved. Triathlon, largely white, middle class and male, and that's a demographic that increases as the races get longer. So we've worked with various groups, or we talk with various people. Muslim Triathlon Network is one example, Fund Her Tri, other groups, and they help us to just kind of go, what little things could we be doing to be more inclusive? So for example, we've introduced big swim caps. So if you have afro hair or very long hair, you need a hat that's going to stay on for the whole of the 2.4 miles. So we've put those in place. We've also put women's toilets, period kits. We've been working with our outlaw chef to make sure that we're offering halal-friendly menus in our event dining. So it's all little things. And we also work with a number of para-triathletes or athletes with medical conditions, such as dementia. We work with them each year to go, right, you want to race with us? Let's work together and see how we can adapt that so that it's safe and fun for you to come and play as well. And then the last one, joining the fraternity goes beyond outlaw. And it's really important to us to be a proactive part of that team that makes it work. So our sport, pretty much like most others, relies on a huge network of players. So athletes, volunteers, clubs, brands, venue providers, a whole group of people. And each of those at the moment in triathlon is facing some challenges. But none of us are going to be able to fix those challenges by working on their own. It's a network, fundamentally, and at the moment, lots of parts of that are not working as well as they could be. So we actively work with British Triathlon Federation and groups like the Triathlon Industry Association, who are bringing those partners together to discuss and explore what the solutions might be and how we can work together to make them kind of come to life. So there you go. That's a really quick summary of just some of the ways which we try and bring that team spirit to life in triathlon. Family at the heart, everything's always more fun with friends, and how do we grow that fraternity? Thank you.